Welcome back into the
Yeah.
OK Preps Roundup, powered by Excel Therapy. This is our Class 5A preview. We're now talking with Lawton MacArthur head coach Brett Manning. Coach, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing all right. I appreciate you taking some time this morning to talk a little bit about Lawton Mac, and one of the things that I wanted to get into with you is the quarterback. Obviously, it's an exciting time
Yep.
for Lawton Mac. One of the storylines to follow I had for Class 5A is Anthony Love, and him coming back this year for his senior year after his junior season was lost to a torn ACL. This might be a season for redemption for Anthony. I know that he was a little upset, or he wasn't a little upset. He was upset he lost last year
Yeah.
to the knee injury, but I saw him at team camp this summer, and he looks just as strong as he did last year. What have you seen from Anthony as he gets ready for his senior campaign?
Well, yeah. First of all, it was very disappointing for him, for all of us, but especially for him. And you just always hate to see somebody lose a whole season like that and have such a big injury. We've been fortunate that it hasn't happened very often for us, but you hate to see that happen. But he's worked really hard. He had a really good off season. He came back from that really well, and he's actually quite a bit faster than he was before the surgery, and he's done a really good job of coming back, and looks like he's in his old form and getting better each day. It obviously would have been better for him had he got a full year of experience under his belt rather than having to sit it out. But he's doing good, and we're looking for big things from him.
What do you expect from this offense led by Love? Because you had a backup fill in all year because Anthony went down
Yeah.
in week 2, and then by the end of the season, you don't really call him a backup anymore. He's the full time guy there at QB1.
Yeah.
What do you expect from this offense? Is it going to be a little different this year with Anthony under center, or how will it compare to what you guys did last year?
It'll be different. We always tweak our offense depending on what we have. We're not such a big school that we can just say this is what we do and go get pick the body types that make that work. We have to adjust to what we have, and going back to J.R. Winningham, who filled in for Anthony last year. The kid came in and won 10 games for us, so
Right.
It's not like he's just somebody we're going to throw to the side now. We're going to try to figure out a way to get him some meaningful game reps also, because I feel like he's earned it. And but our offense will be different. Anthony is he's got a skill set that not a lot of high school quarterbacks have. He's really active. He can run as well as throw, and so we're going to utilize that. I always think it's really hard trying to defend a dual threat quarterback, somebody like a Terry Wilson from Del City. But we're going to try to do things that make defenses uncomfortable with Anthony.
Now let's talk about the season and the schedule coming up. Obviously, last year the district was one of the headlines in Class 5A because of how competitive it was. You guys beat Altus and Ardmore by a combined 3 points during the regular season. You finished the regular season undefeated at 10-0. You fall to Collinsville in a bit of a surprise in the second round, after just simply because of the regular season Collinsville had. You didn't really know what you were going to get from the Cardinals last year. They came down and beat you guys 44-27. How do you guys bounce back from that disappointment in the quarterfinals, knowing that you guys were coming off a state championship the year before? You roll into the playoffs undefeated, it's looking good, and then you trip up in the quarterfinals. What have you seen from this team in the off season to try to eliminate what happened in the quarters this year?
Well, first of all, I don't really. I know looking at records, that seems like an upset. Collinsville was a really good football team.
You're right, yeah.
And I don't. It goes to show they were, a missed field goal away from going into overtime in the state championship game. So, I don't want to take anything away from them. I think I think they were the better team. And also just keeping in perspective, where we were last year. We had lost 19 starters from the year before, and really even us, who we believe in ourselves as much as anybody, but we did not expect to to be 10-0 after the regular season ended, and we didn't think that we would have the sort of season we had. So, I don't necessarily look at it as a disappointment or a disappointing end. I think that everybody was really happy, really excited with how our season turned out, and we took a lot of positives away from it. I think we started 6 sophomores in that final game against Collinsville.
Mm-hmm.
So we were playing with young kids, and we've got all those young guys back, and I think everybody is coming into this season on a real positive note.
So let me ask you this, and we'll get you out of here on this, because I remember you and I talked several times during the year last year, and one of the things that I just kept asking you was, how are you guys getting this done? Because I knew that MacArthur had a lot of turnover after the state championship year. You had a lot of starters to replace, plus Anthony, who is one of those new starters, but you think you have an all-state caliber quarterback there. He's lost in week 2, and so finally, I just had to ask, how are you guys pulling these wins off when the experts, so to speak, would suggest that there's no way that they can? What are expectations now? Because you have guys coming back, you have experience. Anthony's coming back off the knee injury. J.R. Winningham had a phenomenal year filling in for him. You're going to try to get him some reps, move him around to some different places. What are the expectations now compared to where they were this time last year?
They're no different. Our expectations are really high, and that's one thing that, when I came to MacArthur 12 years ago as an assistant, that's one thing I was really impressed with, is the fact that our coaches, our kids, expect to do well, and expectations are high, and this year's no different. Our kids fully believe that they're not going to lose a game, that we're going to go 14-0 and win a state championship. And while that's not necessarily something that coaches buy into or that I buy into, it's good having that mindset. And I don't see it necessarily as cocky or arrogant. That they're just confident in themselves and have high expectations, and that it kind of feeds other people around them when they do that, and you end up with really upbeat, solid practices, and when kids have confidence and expect to win, that can go a long way.
Coach, as always, I appreciate your time this morning. I know you got practice here in about 20 minutes, so we'll let you go and let you get to it. Thanks so much for joining us here for our Class 5A preview.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's Lawton MacArthur head coach Brett Manning joining us here on the OK Preps Roundup, powered by Excel Therapy.